Hey there, I'm Mindy Totten. In my work coaching and mentoring massage and bodywork therapists on the business side of their practices, I often talk about being intentional. You may know that I have a podcast that's called Do It With Intention, but what exactly do I mean by being intentional? And how do you take something from the intention phase and move it into reality? What are the practical steps there when you're trying to be intentional? Well, today I'm going to give you some examples. We're going to talk about being intentional with your pricing. I'm going to share a couple of, what I'll do is I'll share 3 different ways that people generally, body workers generally go about setting their prices. And we'll go from the least intentional to the most intentional. And you can see maybe where you lie on that spectrum. I know when I was first starting off, I was not intentional at all. And I was able to evolve and change that through the years so that I became really concrete and really intentional around my pricing. And that's what I want for you as well. Okay, so what are the 3 ways that body workers generally try to figure out their pricing? The first, which isn't particularly intentional, and that's the way that I started all those years ago, is to basically look around town, see what everybody else is charging, and then kind of go on the low end of that, right? So when I started, everybody in town was charging, $65, $70 for a session. So I looked at all of that and I was like, well, I'm just starting off, so I'll charge $60. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, there's a couple of things really wrong with that. The first is I'll use myself as the bad example. Me charging $60 an hour didn't take into account anything about me, like what my needs were, what my family's needs were, what kind of work I did, where I lived, what expenses I had. And when you price around what other people are charging, what you're doing is taking on all of their money stuff as well, all of their emotions around money and their insecurity around money. They probably weren't intentional when they were setting their prices, and yet here we are trying to set our prices around those. So I don't recommend this as a way to start setting intentional pricing. Now, there's a limit, right? If you're starting off in a new town, say, and everyone is charging around $100 an hour, if you charge $7.50 an hour, there's going to be a gap there, right? And, if you can get that and charge it for your wonderful work, I say more power to you, do it. But you might have a difficult time getting started if there's that much disparity. So take a look around, see what other people are charging, and then go to one of these 2 other ways to be really, really intentional with your pricing. The second way that body workers set their prices, and we're going a little bit more toward the intentional end here, is to sit down and figure out what your needs are. What are your expenses? What do you have to pay for business expenses? What do you have to pay for your life expenses? What are you going to try to put away for retirement, put down on a down payment on a house? Get those expenses there, figure out what you need each month, and then set your pricing around that. So let's say, very, very simplified, oversimplified example. Let's say that you've done that, you've sat down, and you need $1,000 a month. You need $1,000 a month to keep things going. Now, I know that's not realistic. I'm doing it for the simple math. Okay, you need $1,000 a month. And let's say that you want to see about 10 clients a month. Okay? All you have to do is the simple division. You need your prices to be $100 a month or more to be able to meet your needs. So that is much more intentional, right, than just looking and seeing what everybody else is charging and then trying to go from there. You've really gotten intentional, like, okay, here's what I need. And you might want to also build in, here's some of my wants, right? So if I need $1,000 a month, I'm going to price so that I can easily bring in $1,500 a month or whatever it is, right? So looking at your needs and wants and setting your pricing around there. Now, the last way, which is more on the end of being intentional in your pricing, is to do what's called resonant pricing. Resonant pricing takes the whole conversation about pricing out of our heads and puts it into our bodies, where we as body workers know that there's a lot of intuitive wisdom in our bodies. And the exercise, I'm not going to go through the entire thing right here, but the exercise is basically going through several different price scenarios and seeing how your body responds. See not how you think it through, right? Oh, well, if I could do that, then no, how does your body respond when I say $189 per session? Does your body freak out, go, or does your body go, yeah, that sounds good. Hell yeah, let's go $189 a session, right? How does it feel in your body? Those are the 3 ways that body workers can use intention to set pricing for your practices. And I know that this can be a really, really fraught area. It's the one thing that body workers tend to feel the most vulnerable about, the most guilty about, raising prices or setting your prices. And if you're struggling with that, I invite you to check out a masterclass that I've created. It's called Raise Your Rates, How to Raise Prices with Intention and Integrity. And that could be something that's really helpful for you. It takes you through every step of the way, including an exercise in this resonant pricing, but also templates and letters, things that you can send out to your clients, the exact words that you use when you let them know that prices are going up. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check it out at mindytotten.com/rates, RATES. And I think that could be very helpful for you. All right, that's it for now. I look forward to seeing you next time.